Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for Live Impact News. I'm Vanessa Rufus. Right away, we want to kick things off with something fun for y'all. We've got a great segment ahead for you over the next several minutes. And really for folks who are fans of mixed martial arts, you'll want to listen up because there's a great Charlotte connection to talk about, an opportunity for you to kind of see that Charlotte connection in a couple of weeks, actually, March 28th to be specific. We want to bring in Bryan Battle, who is a friend of the show. We've seen Bryan here before on Live Impact, and we've got our assignment desk extraordinaire, Amro Wariat, who's joining us as well. And also, as we mentioned before, Amro is a big MMA enthusiast and does jiu-jitsu. So we always bring him in for these discussions since he's always adds some great insights as well. So let's talk with Bryan right now. Thank you again for coming in. We love having you.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, there have been some changes since we last chatted. It looks like you are now moving on to Professional Fight League.
Yes,
and so you've got an upcoming match to talk about. So tell us a bit about the switchover and what we can expect in March.
It's been a very eventful past year. Me and the UFC, we separated ways, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of drama, but that was last year, you know what I mean? And so then after that, I had 2 fights for a promotion called Dirty Boxing. 2 fights, both first round knockouts, so that was cool. That was a great experience, just getting out there and just getting to do what I love doing. And now we're moving over to the Professional Fight League, and it's a big fight with their former champ, former Bellator champ, former PFL champ, Johnny Eblen, 16-1. The only fight he lost was his last fight, which was for the belt. And, he was winning that fight and got choked unconscious with 10 seconds left. So, it's tough to have that much success and then you're going to have to lose 2 fights in a row. But, just kind of, that's the way the game works sometimes.
Yeah. And how are you looking forward to things with that?
Oh, I'm ecstatic. I think stylistically I match up extremely well with him. I think it'll be a fun fight, an exciting fight for the fans. Personally, I'm looking forward to it because it's my first time being the main event. I've been the co-main event, I've been on the main event card, but I've never been the headliner. So it's my first time with my picture being the biggest picture on the poster. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that and, just putting on a show for the world,
I mean, how does that feel? Is this something that you feel like you've been wanting to be the big poster, if you will? You've been working towards this and you're doing it? Or is this something where you're like, it's the same old day every day?
I think most people, everyone has their own reason why they get into fighting, and competing at that. But whether people admit it or not, if you compete, you see the guys on the poster, you know what I mean? It's like you want to be on the poster, and then, you get to the poster, and then you want to be the biggest guy on the poster because that means you're the most highly touted athlete competing on the card. So it's a sign of validation for a lot of hard work, and, I'm excited to not just be the headline of this card, but to be the headline of a lot of cards following this. Put on a great performance, show that I belong up there, belong as a marquee, and just keep on putting on magical performances and entertaining the fans.
Yeah. I want to bring in Amro because, as we mentioned, Amro has a lot of enthusiasm for MMA, and also you participate as well. You're part of the jiu-jitsu program. And one of the things that I know that you were saying kind of struck you about Bryan's journey most recently is after that second Dirty Boxing matchup, and you, Amro, were talking about that speech that Bryan gave. So I don't know if you want to bring that in because I know that was something that you really were talking about.
Just to get a little bit more insight on that, because while I was watching the fight and I saw you get that knockout over a guy who's part of the Diaz team, which is not an easy team to fight against, just give us a little bit more as to what you were saying in that post-fight interview. You talked a lot about your family, faith, and keeping the grind going.
Well, just on that, as I alluded to earlier, the past year had been really crazy, a lot of ups and downs. I went from one organization to another organization. A lot of personal things had been happening, and I just wanted to, as much as I was talking to other people, I was talking to myself, and just no matter how bad things may seem, no matter how down on your luck you may be, or how much life seems to be working against you, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I'm saying? The only way you can lose is if you give up. You know what I'm saying? And that's just in life. Sports is different. You know what I'm saying? There's rules, there's regulation, there's time. But in life, as long as you keep on trying, good things come to those type of people. You know what I'm saying? So I was just wanted to encourage people who were in a similar place, who had been going through similar things, that as bad as it may seem, it's not over until it's over. So just keep on pushing, keep on looking forward to brighter days. You know what I mean?
This is going to be your debut fight for PFL, and it's arguably a pretty big name to debut against. Do you treat this fight kind of like every other UFC fight you were going into, or is this kind of like a different mindset that you had to change things up a little bit?
So it doesn't really have much to do with a different organization or the opponent necessarily. It's just more or less where I am at in life. You know what I'm saying? Taking all the things I've learned from training in other places, maturing just as an individual. This fight camp has been very different, but it's shaping up to be the best fight camp I've ever had. You know what I'm saying? Very intentional, very focused. Nothing unnecessary happening. You know what I'm saying? Just the grind. You know what I'm saying? Just working really hard, focusing on specific things, getting good at specific things, so that when the time comes to perform underneath the bright lights, I can show out and show off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, we mentioned, of course, that you rep Charlotte, which we love. We always love to see that. What do you want folks to know about how you're bringing your Charlotte ties to the main stage?
Man, I mean, if anyone who from Charlotte has been keeping up with me, how proud I am of being from Charlotte, how much I love Charlotte, how much I love to represent Charlotte. So, I'm not going to do anything special. I'm just going to go and give them a Southern whooping. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to go up there and just give them some Southern hospitality in the worst kind of way. So, so if you're from Charlotte and you've never watched one of my fights, definitely tune in. And if you're from Charlotte and you have seen my fights, you already know what's up. I don't even got to tell you what to do. You're going to tune in anyways.
You were saying, too, your schedule is pretty stacked in that you're either training or you're hanging out with your kids.
Yeah.
What does a typical day look like for you around Charlotte? Where would folks see you out and about in Charlotte if you were to be out and about? I'm not telling. You don't have to name specific places
probably right now, nowhere.
It's that busy.
Right now, it's unless it's at a gym or at home, you're not gonna see me. It's I haven't seen any of my friends in the past couple months. Like I said, literally, unless I've seen family at the house, I'm not seeing people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
After my fight, I will be much more out and about. I'll say this: if there's a local fight card, you will see me at the local fight card. But
okay.
Other than that, right now, nah, I'm not out and about.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You got to keep your eye on the prize, right? There's a lot you got to work on. And leading up to, we mentioned too, it's March 28th, right, in Pittsburgh. Anything that you want folks to know about being able to watch that? Details they might need to know.
Details, it'll be on ESPN Plus and ESPN2. Starts at 10 p.m. So 10 p.m. Eastern time. So 10 p.m. in Charlotte. You know what I mean? And just make sure you mark it in your calendar, set all the reminders you need to set, because you're not going to want to miss this. If you miss it live, you're just going to see highlights of it on Instagram afterwards. So,
yeah.
You might as well tune in and just get to enjoy the experience as it happens. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I mean, for folks who are going to be tuning in and watching, or maybe even some new folks who haven't discovered you yet and they just did and they're gonna watch, what is your message to them, and what do you hope that you can inspire in folks?
I guess I'd say the biggest thing I want to inspire folks is what they're capable of, and not only what you're capable of, but even if you're doing things and you mess up, don't stop, keep on going. You know what I'm saying? I just say, just keep on going, perseverance, you know, staying strong, you know, not quitting, not giving in to, you know, whatever pressures you feel, you know what I'm saying, whatever you feel is against you, you know, it's like, you know, take the chance, climb that obstacle, you know what I'm saying, be the best version of yourself, you know what I'm saying, continue to fight, you know, that doesn't mean you're going to be exactly where you want to be right away, but, you know, as long as you're not who you used to be, you know, you're moving in the right direction, so it's just to keep on fighting, keep on going, and, you know, one day you're going to be satisfied, and maybe not, but, you know, you'll be happy with the journey of chasing that, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's been quite a journey, and we're excited to see where your journey takes you. Anything that y'all want to, either of you want to add before we wrap things up here?
I just kind of want to ask you, fighting for an organization like PFL, which is a lot different than the UFC, but you're still fighting on the highest level of mixed martial arts. How does that kind of resonating with you now? Just switching to organizations and everything, apart from how you were feeling with all the drama that happened with them. Just where are you kind of sitting with that move, and are you excited to be performing in PFL?
Yeah, man. I tell you what, it's interesting because I'm coming into PFL with a big target on my back, and because UFC is like the biggest name organization, you know, a lot of like more casual fans are quick to write off the level of competition that's in the PFL, but you know, I think what most people don't really realize is, you know, whether it's One, whether it's Risen, whether it's PFL, whether it's UFC, you know, once you get to, there's a local level of competition, a regional level of competition, a national level of competition, and then there's world class competition. Once you hit one of those organizations that are taking fighters from all around the world, the best fighters from all around the world, it's pretty equal up until like the upper echelon. And especially something like PFL, you know, I think a lot of PFL high-level fighters would go and have a lot of success over in the UFC. So I say all that to say, you know, I'm not quite as dismissive of the competition I'm going to be facing as some of the fans. Like, I really am approaching it. So kind of going back to one question, in a sense, I am approaching it like a UFC fight because that's how much respect I have for these guys, you know what I'm saying? Or even more attention to detail than when I was in the UFC, because now there's an even bigger target on my back because, you know, a lot of guys that are just as good skill-wise are going to be looking to make a name off of me because I have a bigger name. So, you know, it's like now it's time to show off and, you know what I'm saying, bang some heads and make some money, you know what I mean? Snatch some necks, cash some checks, you feel me?
I feel ya. Always a great conversation, y'all. Thank you so much. We love having you here.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. You guys are awesome, man.
And is there like an equivalent to, you know, like break a leg or good luck for MMA?
Well, yeah, for sure there is, but I always tell people to give all the luck to the other guy.
Okay. Good luck, other guy. Fantastic. All right, Bryan Battle, we wish you all the luck to your opponent. And we invite you to come back to Live Impact whenever you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love having
Thank you so much.
And thanks, Amro, as always.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah.